it's Monday morning and today I've got my top on. This is like a cheetah top. I had this from Pep and Co. I think I got it on clearance. I think it was only, sort of a couple of pounds. I do have some jewellery on. I have this one. As I said, I'm trying to wear my jewellery and I've got my sort of bracelet. It needs to be a little bit tighter really, but it was hard to actually put it on myself. And it's got all this came from Amazon quite some time ago, and yes, it does have a little owl there, and I've teamed it with jeggings, and I've got my owl socks on, my slipper socks. They've got grips on, so it's easier, in the kitchen or in our bedroom, because our bedroom's the only one that's got laminated flooring, so you don't slide and everything. I only did a basic clean yesterday, nothing too strenuous, and a bit of hoovering and everything, just sort of going to the spots that needed doing. Usually on a Monday I'd have like a reset day if I'm not out and about, which I'm not as normal, and that's why I'm trying to take, depending on how I feel on the morning and what I'm doing, try and take a little bit more pride in my appearance, because you do get stuck in a rut being home, but there you are. I put a bracelet on because I don't think I'm going to do a lot with water or anything and things like that, so there's a few bits I want to do in my craft cubby, and I've got laundry to do and just probably tweak a few little bits, so hopefully you follow me on my day. I'm not going to try and put music to this one, but again, it depends what I'm doing. I'll try and talk through it because I try and do a mixture. It was difficult yesterday because family members being round and everything, and like I said, I didn't want to keep shushing them, so I did end up putting a lot to music. So as I said, some of you don't mind that, some like chatty videos, so there you are. If you're anything like myself, sometimes when you're watching YouTube or anything, you don't mind the chatting and everything and explain what you do, because you're probably doing something else at the same time. Because if you're like me, you sort of like to use your time sort of constructive, and sometimes you might have to multitask and everything, because as I said, I like to try and get things done first thing in the morning and that sort of thing. But sometimes what I do take a break or watch a program. Maybe I'm doing something while I'm watching that program or YouTube, and then I might get what I call a second or even third wind sort of thing, in between. I have to judge it right, because I like to try and get going first thing in the morning and do something, because I've had it before. You're doing really well, then you sit down or you start watching something and you don't want to start it again. But sometimes that's why I use a timer. Sometimes that's why I do like certain programs when they have got adverts in. I'm thinking, oh, I'll just go and load the washing machine, or I'll just go and empty the washing machine while adverts are playing. Other times I just pause it and go and do that, if that makes sense, as long as I don't get too engrossed in what I'm watching. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put some hubby's work clothes away in his wardrobe. I did our sons up last night and got those dry, because what happens is I have to then put the machine on an empty wash, a clean wash, because of engineering and oil and all that sort of thing, and then I have to wipe the whole of the drum and the door and everything down. So I try and do a few loads of work clothes all in one go before I do that. So let's put hubby's stuff away first, and I'll see if I can chatter without waffling too much. Right, so I've got a pile of hubby's work clothes here to put away. I do tend to use, as I said before, the thicker coat hangers, these wooden ones, when it comes to jeans, just for the fact that I find after a time plastic ones do actually bend, so I feel as though I need a stronger coat hanger. Now, I have said this in the past, a lot of our clothing is hung up, t-shirts, shirts, trousers, whatever, skirts, things like that. PJs, hubby has them in a drawer. I have them in the top box of my wardrobe. Underwear obviously in drawers. I just find usually it's easier for hubby to get things off coat hangers, and I say things have changed, but I've learnt what works for us. And I know he can pull off a pair of jeans, t-shirt, and a jumper or sweatshirt for work, and it's not one of those that you pull something out like his best sort of casual jumpers. Usually just takes the top one, so I do alternate them, so he does use all his different jumpers. But if he was to have a pile of jeans, and especially if there was something else on top, it would just pull it out probably, and everything will fall out and get messed up. I just find that this works, and I do have the use of these creamy off-white coat hangers that I have in most of the wardrobes, just to put his t-shirts on. So I hope everybody's doing well. I've had some nice feedback and comments, thank you very much. It's nice to be able to support each other. The one thing I would say is, and I know this is going to be happening, I don't actually watch the news very often. I get messages from hubby and my son because they both get news alerts, especially with what's going on with COVID-19 and everything. But I don't necessarily watch the news that often. I may pick up things in the evening on news, or sometimes, you know, on YouTube or whatever, when you're flicking something comes up. But what I don't like, and I do take comments, and I try and work with them, whether they're positive or negative or whatever, you know, I try not to take it to heart. But what I will not do, or, you know, sort of put my hands up and say, stand for, is these people that they put comments on, or just a number. You probably have seen it, that I've had a lot actually reported. I've reported them, they've been removed, of sexual content. That's all I'm going to say about that. Hubby has sort of, you know, saying don't let it go, and it's nasty being in the middle of a craft video or something, you know, or saying I put up a craft video and this has happened, and then you've got messages talking about referring to other sites that have sex and everything like that. I'm checking my parameters to make sure whether that makes any difference, because I just think it's off. Also, I've had dare I call them political comments that are nothing and absolutely nothing to do with my video. Obviously, this person is put their view forward. They're instantly reported, if necessarily, blocked and removed. I don't agree with that. I'm not going down that route of racism or political or anything like that, because I want my channel to be positive. It's why I took it up. It took me a fair few years to do that, due to the fact that I do suffer from anxiety and panic attacks, and it got my confidence going. Came to a stage that I would not say, you wouldn't see this now, seeing me probably you know, nattering away, but I was very reserved. I wouldn't talk. I do find it quite easy talking to a camera, even though it's a possibility, you know, could be 50 people watching it, 100, you know, more than that, you know, fair enough. And that's why I do like positive feedback. I mean, I always think that if you haven't got anything nice to say, don't say it. But there might be a time where you might think, well, I'm not sure if I agree with that. It depends what the comment is, or what is being said to what I say, if I know what I mean. Because I personally like positive feedback. I know it's not always possible, because you have to take the good with the bad, don't you, and things like that. But just in case anybody does see, before I actually get to see it, some of these comments, I think it's took me a while to get to my subscribers. and yes, I do post most days. I don't know how they do it, but what I understand is they put a certain comment, and yet I don't know, it could end up on about, I don't know, 20, 30, maybe more YouTube channels, one message. And really and truly, I do not agree with it. I think realistically there should be a stop to it, as I said, but I do feel, because I've had to I think delete about 3 or 4 messages on topics that I don't agree with, that should not be on my channel and should not have been posted, if that makes sense. But I thought I'd just put that out there, because I'm sure other YouTubers get it, I don't know, but I don't understand it, and I really wish people wouldn't do that. I think it's not in very good taste, for one thing. So let me get these put away. So I'm trying not to have a rant, because I'm feeling pretty good this morning, and I had a good weekend. Didn't really do much. Yes, we did go to the tip. I hope you can hear me while I've got my back to you, but as I said, but hopefully you could understand about it, and you know, having things rammed down you. And I'm thinking, I'll tell you the political one. Well, I thought it was slightly political, maybe I'm wrong, was on my Iceland food shop. If you go back, you won't possibly see it now, because it's been obviously blocked and deleted, but I still think it's not in very good taste, you know, and that's why, as I said, I started doing YouTube. I just wanted that confidence sort of boost, and it's really helped me with COVID-19 and everything, because you guys have helped me keep on track, keep going, because I feel as though sometimes, I don't know, and I know people have commented and struggled. I do struggle. There's the odd day, you know, it's like today. I'm not too bad, but yeah, I'm quite happy. I would love to go and just sit in an armchair and read my book or anything, or watch, dare I say it, yeah, the series I'm following, Four in a Bed and things like that. But I thought, if I get this and this done, then I can have my treat and my coffee, and maybe a dare, depending on how much moving about, maybe I can have a plain biscuit as well, as a snack. I've had breakfast. As I said, I've put one lot of laundry in the washing machine. I haven't got my tumble dryer going yet, but as I said, I just want to get some clothing done. So I'm going to do a little bit in my craft cubby. I've got to get my planner stuff, which is pretty much all together, because that's the video I'll be doing tomorrow, being it will be Tuesday, the month of March. So I'm looking forward to doing some planning and everything, and I'd love to do a little bit of crafting. I know my craft videos don't do very well, and they're basic, very basic, but it's something I enjoy doing. I do mix it up a lot, and yes, hopefully come June time, if not beyond, whatever's mentioned tonight on the news, maybe we can start going away, hopefully. I know hubby's might have made a comment when we was in the car at the tip on Saturday, said, oh, you can't wait to get away. It was pretty nice weather to start with, and yeah, it is like caravan weather for us, not too hot, but one of those that, you know, can get out, go for a walk and have a barbecue and things like that. So anyway, I'm going to get on, so hopefully you're not going to be bored if I start, you know, sort of yapping, but I just wanted to put that little comment out there about certain things are getting blocked. As I said, I do take criticism. I try to anyway. But if anybody else knows, you tend to be hard on yourself sometimes. I'm quite well, I used to be reserved. I do take things to heart. Hobby is a wing it. I've mentioned this a couple of times. can we say a bit chalk and cheese? It works, you know, opposites attract. So yeah, he can sort of lay back a bit. I know when things sort of get him down or something, but he's pretty laid back, and he'll say, oh, I'll do it. He is one of these. I'll do it later. I'll do it tomorrow. Do you know what I mean? I'll do it another day. Wing it. What will be, which is fair enough. I'm more, I've got to get this done. I've got to get this done. Or what if? What if this happens? What if I can't do it? Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, when we're around each other, we're pretty good. We try and find that balance. And it hasn't caused too much disagreement between us. I think we're pretty good now that through the years of being married and everything, we do try and sort of find that middle bit. You know, it's just balancing it or anything. It's like when we're on holiday. I think that's why hubby likes to go away a lot, is due to the fact that he'll look at me, so does our son if he comes with it, and say, we're going to wing it. As he knows that if I plan to go somewhere, especially when we're in Cornwall for like 2 weeks, have I got drinks? Have I got pack up? Have I got medication? What's the weather like? Do you know what I mean? Mittenly with the Kia that we tow with, we have normally got everything in the boot anyway, if that makes sense. When we go to somewhere like Cornwall, there is normally towels in there. There's normally extra clothes, our hiking boots if it's hot weather, so we're only in light trainers or something like that, and Max, that sort of thing. Usually everything is in there, so it's not too much off the brain. But some places, especially if you're going, like, we try not go away Whit Week now. That we used to always go away Whit Week because that's our anniversary, and that was the month when the week we got married. But it is very busy, and sometimes like car parks, because some of those little car parks are that small and tight, do you know what I mean? And then if you can't get in the car park, then you've got to find somewhere else to park, and it could be quite a stretch away. And hubby's not too bad about it, because here's another time that he will actually say, yeah, let's get out fairly early-ish. And yeah, and possibly, you know, then we've got the afternoon or late afternoon, evening, just to relax around the caravan, that sort of thing. Or as I used to do, I used to go out, and then I used to go swimming. I used to go in the pool. Sometimes hubby used to come swimming with me. Sometimes he used to like just to sit. It's an enclosed sort of patio, and it's got a cafe and a bar off of that. So he can relax with his YouTube or anything. They do have points where we stop that you can actually plug in your laptop or charge your phone up and things like that. So it works out well. And very often after I've had my swim, well, if we've both gone in, then we've sat in the patio. You can get food there, but very often we have, depending on what the weather's like, latte. And what I like is one side of the windows, they can all slide open so you can get that breeze in. But if it's a bit drafty or a bit cooler, they can be closed, and you can actually see the beach and the sea from the swimming pool. Very nice. Again, I'm rabbiting on, but I'm trying to have these conversations while I'm doing bits and pieces through the day. This is actually the first time I've put washing out this year. Got a bit of sun. It is very breezy, but I thought, well, even if I put the clothing out just for a short period of time, you know, it should dry, and I could just finish it off and put it in the airing cupboard just to air through. But I thought, because they're some of my fleecy jumpers as well, my like lounge tops, I didn't really want to put them through the tumble dryer, because I'm not sure that it's going to take the fluffiness out of them. But there we are. So at least I've got my first lot of washing out for the year. Yes, I am in my craft cupboard. Excuse my hair sticking up. Like I said, I keep saying this, what you see is what you get. I could be bra showing, you know, strap, or the tabs. I've done a whole video. I remember one at Christmas, was wearing my Christmas jumper, and I got one of the shoulder tags, you know, out that you put it, leave it, you know, they're usually used to keep on coat hangers and things like that, and things like that. And hubby says, oh, you keep saying what you see is what you get, you know, don't bother, it could have my hair sticking up or something not right, necklace turned round so it's not facing the right way. But like I said, that's just me. So I am trying to make a little bit of an effort due to the fact that I'm not working, I'm not home all day. So yeah, when I started doing this and explaining to hubby, he was saying, oh, where have you been? You know, he knows that nobody's come round because you can't have people round, but he says, oh, you look nice. And I thought, oh, thank you, you know, make a bit of an effort. So I've got a little bit of tweaking to do and a bit of dusting and everything in here, but as I said, I'm trying, if I can, because it's just me, I'm trying to talk a little bit more through this video, so I'm hoping that you're enjoying this type of video and I'm not rabbiting too much. I've got a few little bits and pieces to put away, like these gems. I think these are really good. These were from Asda, this little tub for £2.50. It's should have actually took the seal off, but try and get the tape off to have a look. As I say, can't shop around. I badly want to go to things like the Works. I know you can go online, but the only thing I've found, especially with the Works, I don't know if anybody else is the same, a lot of the pieces that I'm interested in are out of stock. So I'm waiting to be able to actually go in the store. It's like Hobbycraft. I know they can be expensive, but we've got quite a because it's on 2 levels. That's the wind. If you hear any noise, it's the wind. I've now got my washing back in. I did have a drink and watched an episode of 4 in a Bed. I thought, no, I'm not going to watch anymore. I'm going to get this job done, and then it would be probably getting close to lunchtime. But I managed to get to that washing. It was only about an hour and it was thoroughly dry, but I put it in the airing cupboard to air. And yeah, so yeah, going back to Hobbycraft, we have got one that's on 2 floors, and the upstairs part of it had like clearance things, you know, and sometimes you could pick up some really good bargains. Some things even on clearance I thought was expensive, but especially embellishments, if you get stuff like after the season or anything, so say in the summer they might have Christmas stuff and it's slashed because they want to get rid of the stock. After Easter, do you know what I mean? You could end up getting reasonable Valentine's stickers and things like that. My stomach, excuse my stomach started rumbling. I did have 1 biscuit and a cup of coffee, but I wanted to get a little bit done in here because once lunch is over with, I'll keep the laundry going, being it's Monday and things like that. So anyway, these are the gems. I think I've opened it up now. And as I said, the only thing is they're not sticky, but they are, you know, fair size. There's different sizes and different shapes. So they should be really good. Like this. As I said, they've even got some sort of, you know, in different like little shades, lilac and this pink. They're probably in the light look the same, but they are 2 different shades and things like that. So there's quite a lot. There's some really tiny ones that probably I will have problems with. I have got some tweezers and that, and this is supposed to pick up gems as well. So as I said, there's the pot, and I think that is really good. Yeah, I could get them from Poundland, but I think with the amount that's in here, I think maybe it's maybe a bit a shade, maybe better value. I don't know. So I'm going to have to sort those out and put those away. I've also got my 2 notebooks that I got from Poundland. I want to keep those available. As a reminder, sometimes I try and keep my desk fairly cluttered. It is cluttered at the moment, I must admit. But this part here that I'll show you, let me just turn you down a little bit. I don't know if you can see that. It's a little bit cluttered, but obviously I'm going to do some dusting. I like to have things that I believe or I want to address. So like these sort of notebooks, I'll just put them there for a moment to remind me that that's sort of the next little thing project on my list. I do have the wreath here, and I did Valentine's Day, and I thought I'm going to take it to bits because I can reuse the heart wreath and put maybe some spring-like flowers or something, as I said, because I didn't stick it all down, I can just pull it to bits, which is what I'm going to actually do, because nothing is actually stuck down, so I can just take all the pieces out and reuse it. I said, I'm only basic crafter, and I've said this before. I think most people may be the same. I don't know. As I said, I'm probably more, you know, overthink things and things like that. Hubbies are wing it, as I said, bringing that conversation back up again. And maybe I overthink things and think, no, it's not good enough. And then I think, should I, you know, put it on YouTube or not? Someone might think, well, that's not very good. But in myself, part of me is pleased that I've done it, and it's, you know, keeps me sane. It's my little thing. I mean, I do like watching TV. I like movies, and I do like reading and crafting, and I like obviously visiting different places. And I know people must be getting sick of me saying about this for in a bed, but I'm sort of written down in my planner actually of places that I'd like to go and visit, you know, that, because obviously sometimes you see a bit of the scenery and everything. I know there's been places that we've put off, and I know another YouTuber, Diane Kelly, that I follow, and she follows me, mentioned about Scotland, and funny enough, that has been on our list for some time. But whether it's right or not, I said, I'm a planner, hubby takes it as it comes. We did actually say that when he retires, we would actually consider going away in our caravan for 3 weeks to a month. Obviously health and obviously funds and everything, you know, if that's possible. And we wanted to make our way to Scotland. I've never been to Scotland. I've been to Wales, but that was when we was on a YTS, youth training scheme, because back in the 80s, show my age, sort of unemployment was really high, so the government brought in the YTS to place, you know, teenagers, 16, 17-year-olds into some form of experience, and then you used to have 1 day at college. The only thing is you used to get paid £25 a week, but for someone, I did do a few part-time jobs and everything, but when you think about it, it was getting the work experience on the CV. And I spent nearly a year at Avon Cosmetics in personnel, and I loved it. I did apply to a building society, but there was no positions available. But as I was coming to the end of my time on the YTS, this building society did contact me and offered me, and I went for about 2 or 3 interviews and finally got the job. So when personnel in Avon Cosmetics at the time hadn't got that sort of position, because you've got about 3 or 4 managers there and their secretaries and everything, a lot of people felt not. I had a really good experience on the YTS, and they Avon Cosmetics did a brilliant job. I got to see parts of what different managers did. I actually got to go around the factory, and a lot of people, you know, what I saw regularly, or was taking messages to say to the foreman or something down on the floor and everything. Again, following health and safety because of the machines and everything. You know, I used to put the hand up, and you know, I felt really good, and they made me feel really welcome. We went on a charity thing during my time there as well, in London, and got to see some celebrities, Bonnie Langford, Jimmy Carson, you know, and shake the hands, had the photographs taken with them and everything. So really good. And the one thing, funny enough, I started shadowing this lady from, again, human resources personnel, and she was getting a bit tired of doing sort of the arrangements, because they had a lot of cabinets around the building, especially factory side and office side and everything, where you can do little arrangements of the products that are coming out. You know what, I used to love it. I used to love it to bits. Whether that's where all this flag come from. At this point, I've always been into a little bit of crafting, but nothing compared to as the years have progressed. I think that's when I started feeling as though I like this, and I got so many people, you know, found out that it was me that was doing it and loved it, you know what I mean, taken to and getting paid a little bit. I mean, a lot of people that were on the YTS, different organisations, not Avon, not where I was, said it was slave labour, which it probably was actually, and some of them, you know, doing the job of someone that's getting paid full whack, you know, full wages, but like you have to take the good with the bad. Yeah, it was low wages, and often a lot of people were getting really the dregs or filing or anything, and you know, not getting the experience. I felt I had a really excellent experience, and I'd love to have stayed there, but it was just not possible at the time. And anyway, and I just had some lovely, and the best thing about it, I used to have been in human resources, and I suppose obviously I'm 16, you know, and it's all everything's experience. The only thing that used to panic me was when I used to have to answer the phones for the managers, and I'm thinking, I don't know who these people are on the line, and yet when they're in meetings or behind closed doors sort of thing, don't want to be bothered. You've seen it in these programs. If you've been a secretary, you probably know where I'm coming from. I'm a 16-year-old, I'm thinking, oh, the secretary's popped out. They said, oh, could you just watch the phone or something, you know, whatever. And I must admit, most of the time, I wrote everything down. I said, please bear with me, the secretary's just popped out. I'm afraid the door's closed, is on the phone, can't interrupt him. Can I take your name, you know, phone number? And I would repeat everything back, and I kept saying, I know, obviously got all these experienced managers and everything on the other line, but I was, you know, writing everything down and just checking everything, and they wanted to sort of say what it's sort of referring to, so that I could tell him. You know, a couple of times they were really, really pushy, and said, has my confidence got it? It got a little bit easier, not terribly easily, because obviously knowing what they're talking about, the product and everything, was a little bit, you know, nerve-wracking. You know, especially when they're ringing up to say that they've got a problem with a branch or something, or some form of item that's being manufactured or something, you know, feedback and everything. I'm thinking, I knew some of them, the items that were obviously in the main production at the time, and something else that came about was often people come from like the manufacture part of it, you know, with different perfumes, different products, and said, oh, are you allergic to perfumes, scents or anything? And I said no, because they quite liked my view, I think, being a 16-year-old, especially when they're going for the younger market. Although I know they have these sessions where they bring in different age groups or anything, you know, in different walks of life to get feedback on products. You know, someone would come up and say, you know, and I would hate to say I don't like something, but they always used to say, please be truthful, and things like that. And very often I'll say, no, I'm not allergic to anything. They used to come up and say, oh, this is a new bracelet, you know, and they used to come up to me, do you mind wearing it for the day? Whatever. You said you can keep it if you want afterwards, or just throw it away, because obviously they can't resell it. And they used to write a little note, and they get it signed by a manager to say, yes, this person's wearing one of the Avon bracelets, especially if it was sort of being produced sort of thing and not actually gone into the brochure, so that if I got stopped at the gatehouse, which very often I got to know some, because unlike a lot of people where they used to got their own cars, I used to walk it to the bus stop, because at this stage obviously I wasn't learning to drive, I was only 16, so I used to say, and I used to say, oh, there's my bracelet, especially if it was really warm weather and I got t-shirts, say, yeah, I'm wearing a bracelet, and used to show the form. Very often it got to the stage, oh, what are you wearing today, or what can you say about today's perfume and jewellery? And I loved it, and the amount of jewellery and everything. they come away, and perfume. I remember coming back from mini breaks and everything, and I used to say, I'd see notes on my desk with different products, there's all, you know, hand creams and everything. Loved it. Plus used to get reduced items that maybe the packaging was a bit damaged and things like that. So yeah, very often most people got Avon for gifts, because obviously being a 16-year-old on a limited budget, they all got Avon. But yeah, I waffled on with one of my stories, didn't I? So yeah, so I'm going to keep this, and I've still got, so from Jolton, you've got your balance here, and I've got a couple of these. So what I might do is some, like, spring flowers. I'm going to have to check my box out, because I could do with some new flowers. I've pulled them to bits, you know, a number of times, and yeah, like, look at the state of this. You know, and some of them I've had to glue back on because of the bendy wires. These are not too bad because they're quite sturdy, but yeah, and I have got carnations here that I didn't get put away. But, you know, I hope you don't mind if I'm carrying on, like, putting things away. I need to get my box down to put the flowers and, you know, getting bits and pieces put away. This is the thing, I was saying, it's such a small area, but very often, you know, couple of things. One, yeah, I have to keep it tidy as I can, because I do have the router up here, and also you know, some technology that doesn't belong to me. That's why I've got that check curtain. Don't know whether I can quickly show you. There we are, the check curtain. So I got my finger in the way. So yes, they need to get to the router if they have to reset the internet and things like that. Because don't forget, I think I've said this before, they used to have all the mahogany set in here, a desk, everything, family computer, PC, that sort of thing. And yes, I've still got a lot of the mahogany shelving. It never got replaced, and I thought, well, there's nothing really bad about it, because you can't really see it that much, maybe the underneath. But I have got some white extra shelving that we put up because of different things that I've sort of transitioned into, if you know what I mean. You know what it's like crafting. I can declutter most of our home, but as a crafter, and I'm sure anybody that crafts or do anything like knitting, crochet, paper crafts, whatever it is, you tend to just want to keep those pieces, because you never know, oh, that ball of wool will come in handy for something, do you know what I mean? So there is that. So yeah, I've got some wreaths to put away. Again, I do apologise for the jolt of the camera. I'm just put those there because I really want to do something with those. But again, I need to check my box of flowers. Let me just see if I can get it without jolting anything. So it's only just here. This is the thing, again, about a small place, although really it could be larger. Yeah, so there's my box of flowers, and I have got some yellow ones, so they are fairly big, but these sort of ones I will probably use more for sort of summer and everything. I could do with a few more, I think. And yeah, I've put me pumpkins in here and things like I've got all these from, do excuse the rustle, Amazon. You can never have enough of those, can you? So I have got certain things, and I've got these little pots. As I said, I've got that frame in the dining room that I use for quite a lot of things, and I thought I might actually use these. These are the little ceramic ones, and use these to put, you know, like an Easter sort of arrangement. I've got those bunnies. I've got the yellow one, because I could only find one yellow one from my last Poundland haul, but I know I've got a few more, and I'm hoping, hubby did say he's got to pick up my air fryer on Friday, all being well, and something else is ordered from Curry's, and he says, do I want to go to Poundland? And I said, well, I'll see, because I did spend a fair bit the last time in Poundland, and I don't feel right. I don't feel comfortable going around. I've taken all the precautions, do you know what I mean? But hopefully, you know, another, dare I say, 4 weeks to 5 weeks, maybe things will be better. Don't know. Hopefully. But we shall see. It'd be nice to be able to once again go out and not worry about it and things like that, because I used to go around a lot of the shops and sort of do, you know, reviewing products. I've said this before, hubby says I could spend ages in a store and not buy anything. You know, it's not like I used to do, where I used to probably live to spend money. Now I do like to get a bargain, unless it's something that, they laugh at me, jumps out at me and I've got to have. Like there was that metal caravan in Home Sense a while back, and I loved it. But it was something like $24.99 or something. I think it was that price. And although I liked it, and I umped dad, and hubby told me to get it. He said, "You'll regret it, get it." I just couldn't justify it, really, in a way. If it was something that I could have out most of the year, if that makes sense, like I've got that little, like, it's supposed to be like a birdhouse caravan that I have in the dining room, and I bought that. That was something like, I think, £12, and I've got that from, I think, was it Jackson's of Old Arley or was it Cornwall? I know Jackson's of Old Arley have got it in Warwickshire, but I think I bought that one maybe in Cornwall. But I just use it as an ornament. It's caravan related, so I can have that out practically all year, if you know what I mean. It doesn't have to go away. And it's like that leaf bowl I've got. Originally, I've had that about 3 or 4 years, and I got it from TK Maxx. I think I only paid £5.99 for it, but I went for a particular pumpkin that was about £14 odd. But when I saw that bowl, I thought, that can do for autumn. It could do through the winter. I could have it through January. Yet a pumpkin I could only have out for a certain period of time. Yes, I'd have liked those sort of pumpkins, you know what I mean, but I weighed it up, do you know what I mean? And that's how I think of things, you know. Have a list, or I see something online, or I see something in a store like TK Maxx or Home Sense, I think, yes, I really want that. Can I justify the price for it, just to have it out? I think Valentine's Day is a good example, because I try and put my decor up and have it out for a week, at least a week, maybe a few days before, a few days after. I did put it up quite late, I think, and then I left it up for a whole week before I took it all down. But it's only up for a week. It's like autumn, at least you have it up for a fair bit of time. Even Halloween, I tend to have my decor out a lot longer, maybe a couple of weeks, maybe longer. But I'm hoping that makes sense to you, and I'm not rabbiting on about this subject, but it's like a seesaw, you know. It's like having a devil and an angel, you know, on your shoulder all the time. But anyway, so at the moment I'm going to just put all these flowers in here, because I'm going to do my planner tomorrow, means it's Tuesday. Now, I've got to make another deck. I keep making these declarations, don't I? Don't be surprised if videos tend to come out of order. I've done it before. It's like I said, I did that long conversation fairly early on in the morning, but I didn't upload it until night time, so a lot of you didn't see it till the next day. It's the fact that sometimes I might have a query on something and think, oh, have I rabbited on too long? But then I think, well, you can stop it to, you know, just fast forward it or whatever if I rabbit on too long, or not watch it at all. That makes sense. Sometimes if I mention say hubby or our youngest son that lives at home with us, sometimes I may say to them, look, I mentioned this and this, is that okay with you? And especially hubby, you know, the last thing I want to do is make him feel uncomfortable, or, you know, whatever, especially if one of his mates or something happens to come across one of my videos, because they know, you know, usually it's more when we're away caravanning and everything, and they do camping, caravan themselves, barbecuing, that sort of thing they like watching, which is on my playlist. Not so much obviously cleaning, they're not interested in that, but sometimes I might rabbit on about hubby, and I said to him, you know, is that okay? He's never refused anything that I've said, and he's been fine with it, but sometimes I've got that little inkling, think maybe I shouldn't have said that, and I don't like offending people. And that's came up about the midwife situation. He said it and I said it also about our midwife. Well, we had two in the end. Well, I had two. Didn't mean to stick my fingers up. And both hadn't had children, and you know, but one and the other one was brilliant, and both of them had had children, and they were totally different. But that's the sort of thing, and I didn't want to come across that I was you know, sort of saying something against midwives just because they haven't had children. That's not what I was saying. It was just obviously the experience, and I think it could have gone better the first time. So anyway, I got another little ribbon, as I said. Normally I'd have fast forward this and just put music. If you're bored, I'm sorry, you know, it's just I have to get things done. Monday, as I said, is usually a reset day, you know, just tweaking bits and pieces. I've got my Easter cards still out here. They're up here, look. Here they are. Got all my Easter cards here. So I'm going to start writing those soon, because I've got some of your addresses, so I'm hoping, you know, if I get enough made, I can send some through the post, because I did send Christmas cards through, and I'd like to get some of them out because it might take a period of time for you to receive them, things like that. So yeah, I have got a few little tiny parcels as well, and I've got to apologise to Carol because I got a little parcel for her actually from Christmas, and it's still sitting upstairs, and I do apologise if you're watching this. I am very, very sorry. I think it's going to be a case. I can't really send it when we got heat wave, although that wouldn't surprise hubby. It might wait until this Christmas coming. We'll see. But anyway, even if I did eventually get it sent out to you, you could always keep it up for Christmas. So we shall see. It's there. It's packaged. There's no excuse I could get it sent off. But again, I'm waiting to a time that I got the centre. I did actually have a break when I was watching TV to put my prescription through, my medication to the surgery, and that will go straight to Boots. So by the end of the week I'll be to go out anyway, although both hubby and my son said, well, they could be available sometime during Friday if I needed a lift up there and back. And I said, well, I'll see, because if the weather's not too bad, I don't mind having that leisurely walk up there. It's when the weather's not brilliant, isn't it, that you don't want to go out. And I think that's the thing. When we had the snow, it was nice, you know, have thick jumper on, have the heating on and everything. And it did bother me going out. As soon as the weather starts changing, and although it's been windy, the sun's been out, my outlook has changed, and I feel as though, yeah, I want to go out. And I'm planning to probably go for a walk. I don't know if it'll be today, probably in the next couple of days, to see what they've done around the lake and everything. But I know I might end up having to walk up to get my prescription and everything, and try not be tempted. I say it's enclosed. It's got shops. It's got Tesco's. See if there's anything I need actually from Tesco's. Yeah, if one of the guys with transport comes, yeah, it ends up a little bit more on the expense side, because I think, oh yeah, I'll get, I don't know, what can I say, can't say sack of potatoes because my stall's not there, but yeah, just say for instance a sack of potatoes, you know, wouldn't bother. But if someone's with me with transport, yes. Talking about cars, yeah, it's the conversations come back up about getting behind the wheel. I've got my new glasses now, and we're nearly, what, 3/4 way through February, and I keep making excuses, do you know what I mean, about getting behind the wheel. I think it's because even my son, I mean, is 25, and this is my youngest, and he, you know, I've been in the car and some of the near misses, and I can't believe his reaction, like hubby's. Do I dare be sexist about this? I don't know. I don't know whether it's a bit sexist. They seem to be get out of near misses, you know, and you know their reaction. That's the word I'm looking. Their reaction seems to be, can't do it. Instant, you know what I mean? As I don't know, I think my reaction time will be slow. I actually failed my first driving test on being too cautious. I passed second time because first time just being too cautious, and I can't understand it because when we got married and everything, it was a little while before we could afford my own car, because he either used to take me to work, or this building site he did used to have a bus, used to buy you know, passes for the bus, so it wasn't too bad. Then I had my own car and I used to drive everywhere. I used to go to Milton Keynes, Seaside, Oxford, the lot. Then when I had our first child, hubby then started having the works van because he worked for Express Lifts at the time. So I had the family car, which was handy because my car was a Renault 18 and it didn't have seatbelts in the back. So I ended up taking, first we had a Renault 19 and then we had the Picasso. But anyway, I started driving the Renault 19 and it was me that used to drive everywhere. I used to, if he was not bringing the work van home, I used to go and pick him up and everything, do you know what I mean? And it was nothing. Has it progressed through work life and both kids? Used to go out and about everywhere, and then mother-in-law on 2 occasions had 2 different static caravans, so I used to take especially our youngest one, he must have been maybe less than a year old I think, and the other one was in nursery at this time, or school, one of the 2. And hubby went for a stint, I don't know, was it about, I don't know if it was 4 to 6 months on permanent nights. That was a shocker. So obviously having a toddler, I used to, you know, take the car and be out most of the day, and then used to pick the other one up. Used to end up maybe at McDonald's or something on the play area or the park or something, you know, and have an extra pack up with me and things like that. So hubby would get his sleep in, and then he used to message me when he was up and about. So yeah, but then as the time's gone on and we went down to 1 car, and work is where I used to work was only like less than 10 minutes walk, I started driving less and less. I only used to drive to Cornwall through the night. This is before we were towing with the Picasso. And I used to drive, say, to Bristol. Then we used to change drivers. By that time, hubby was itching like anything to get behind the wheel. And I can remember, so I'm not sure what stories I've actually told you, but I can remember changing Bristol. It's early hours of the morning, and obviously we walked the boys, they were quite young at the time and everything, and had drinks and everything, stretched our legs because they used to sleep most of the time in the car. And then we used to change drivers. And then I remember our eldest at the time saying to the dad, he says, "Oh, you're driving really good, Dad," or Daddy. He said, "When Mummy drives, it keeps bleeping," because he used to set the monitor to bleep if you're going, you know, close to the speed limit or slightly over. Sometimes you couldn't help it if you were overtaking a lorry or something, do you know what I mean? I'm not saying I went over, but getting close to it, you know, and hubby used to be doing this. Do you know what I mean? But he deactivated it when he took over. Not that he was speeding. I think it's because I was constantly looking to, you know, flicking down to check what my speed was and everything. And I think that's one reason why he put the bleep system, I call it bleep, I'm not very technical minded, the bleep system on, so I knew when I was getting close to my speed limit, you know what I mean, as him, he could drive and drive and drive, and he'd be just under the speed limit. I think, again, I don't know if it's a guy thing. I really don't. I've been a bit sexist here, haven't I? But yeah, so, and the only other time I can remember I had brakes, and then hubby hurt his back at work 3 days before we were due to go to Cornwall. And I'm not kidding you, I was having kittens. So I'm just looking at, I've just got a message come up on my phone. It's just a bit now. And I thought, oh, I've got to get behind the wheel. At this time, again, it had been over a year since I've actually got behind the wheel. This was some time ago because the boys were still fairly young. And I did okay. It was just to give himself time to have his painkillers and everything. So I used to do the driving. But I can remember driving to one car park, St Ives. Now we park up the top where there's a leisure centre. It's easy to walk down from there if you know St Ives and get the bus back. But before we used to do that, they had a tiny, tiny car park. I'm not kidding you, it's that small. And I remember going to the car park, and you pay the bloke, and he said, right, and he used to say, because they used to have the blokes on the little shed things, and I can remember getting out and hubby taking over, and the bloke laughed because hubby said, yeah, I paid like £250 to have rear sensors put on and have them sprayed the same as the car. Admittedly, the car was only a few months old by this time. This is that Picasso from brand new. He says, I've got to park it. She doesn't want to park it because the last thing I want to do was scratch all the paintwork or anything or knock anything. And again, I don't know. Any female drivers out there, are you okay parking? Side parking, I find a nightmare. But yeah, and I think that's what actually, you know, maybe restricts myself from going places and doing things, and possibly finding that other job after I was made redundant. I'm not, in a way, I'm glad in a way that I'm not working with everything that's been going on this last 12 months. But yeah, I think, you know, if I had to go out, I'd love to be able to find a little part-time job where I would actually enjoy going to work. Now, I know people out there, you know, you're going out to work, you're bringing money in, fair enough, do you know what I mean? But I'd really, I'll make myself sound old here, I'd love something that I would enjoy doing. I remember a couple of years ago, we went in Hobbycraft, and I was looking at this notice, and hubby turned around and says, forget it. It said, you know, jobs available in Hobbycraft. Made the assistant laugh because she said, well, do you want an application? And hubby goes, no. He said, we'd be bankrupt if she worked here. It's like the range, you know, there's certain stores, you know, and I don't mind stacking shelves and everything, do you know what I mean? You know, somewhere like that. I'd even do Tesco's, you know, I'd do a little part-time job, but I feel at the moment, maybe I'm making excuses again, it's driving, possibly finding another job, but there's people out there at the moment that are going to need these jobs. Maybe it's an excuse. I've said this to hubby. There's people out there that badly needs work, you know, and you don't know what the job situation's going to be like. If my son's job changed or hubby's for any reason, you know, dare I say, touch wood, there would be a time I would actually have to find work. I'm more careful with my pennies now. I like to get, as the Americans say, more for your buck, is it? Or something like that, you know. Count your pennies and the pounds will look after themselves. That sort of thing. I'm waffling on again. I'm supposed to be dusting my desk. Hubby's going to come home and think, right, Denise, what have you done today? I'm getting emotional here. Right, say no more, you will say, as long as he gets fed. Can have his bath, chill out. He's a happy bunny. Do you know what I mean? We're not ones. I've said this a number of times, and I know I keep saying I said this a number of times, or I said this before. We're not ones to go out to pubs as such. Yes, for a nice restaurant, and then we usually end up having you know, Pepsi Max or Diet Coke or a latte rather than alcohol, especially as he's probably driving, which he probably is. Son's the same, you know, quite happy to go to a nice, you know, restaurant or pub that's got a restaurant sort of thing and have a meal, which we haven't done in about, I hate to think now, I was trying to figure it out. I think it's been about 15 or 16 months, maybe longer, since we actually been into a restaurant. I can't remember. The last one I really remember was a couple of years ago, and we went for our 30th wedding anniversary, and my poor youngest son had to fill in for a colleague because one of his relations had a really bad health issue and they didn't think it was going to make it. And this was a bank holiday Monday, obviously May Day, and is it May Day? Well, it's the end of May anyway. It was one of the bank holidays because we've got two in May, haven't we? I think May Day is actually the beginning of May, isn't it? The end of May is Wet Week, and he couldn't make it, but that was a fair few years ago now, and yeah, you know, really enjoyed it. And they allowed us to take cake in because we were having a 2-course meal anyway, and we had a lovely meal. It was at an Overston Manor for my 40th birthday and things like that. That was really good, and I got in there. It was really nice. There was flowers all over the tables. Had balloons with 40th on. You know, had a pile of gifts and everything. I had a birthday cake and all the stuff. You know, sang happy birthday, and you know what, we did have starters that were for two, and they were like on steak plates. And I must admit, I was very careful because I was actually sharing mine with hubby, and I thought, that's me finished. I don't want a main course. Do you know what I mean? I had to have a main course, obviously, but you know, I enjoyed that starter. As I don't know about anybody else. I would normally have just the main course. I hardly ever have dessert. Sometimes we're going to have an extra fork or spoon, especially if it used to be a family get-together and they all felt guilty because they all got dessert. It's mostly being diabetic and everything, and depending on what I've eaten for the main course, do you know what I mean? But very often we used to have an extra spoon or fork and I'd just have a bite. So people didn't used to feel so guilty sort of thing, but that really didn't bother me. I like these restaurants that do the smaller portions. Weatherspoon, I normally pick something that is a little bit of everything, you know. It might be some, I don't know, barbecued ribs, maybe a chicken breast or something like that. Not necessarily mixed grill, something like that, because sometimes I have it with peas and new potatoes rather than chips and that sort of thing. Maybe cheesy coleslaw, things like that. But I know for a fact I will turn around to one of the guys and say, you know, if I've had, you know, the full meal sort of thing, you know, the plate, I will put things to my side and I'll eat a bit of this, a bit of that, and then I'll say, oh, I've got like 4 ribs left. Is there any takers for them? Rather than stuff myself, because dad bet they could eat it, do you know what I mean? But sometimes we felt it was better valued that way than having maybe a dessert and they would have things off my plate. Does this sound really bad? Me saying this, we do swap a row, especially when there's a group of us, because hubby does not eat eggs. Yes, if they're in cakes and things like that, but he doesn't eat any form of egg, doesn't eat pasta, rice, things like that. So when breakfast used to come, depending on where we're eating, sometimes he could swap out the egg for something else, but very often we'll say, oh, don't bother. It's like hubby and my son don't like eating mushrooms. They don't mind disguised on a pizza where they can't really taste it, or it's in some form of stew or say a soup. Not too bad, do you know what I mean? So what I would do is I would say, well, I'll have your egg. Do you want my mushrooms? I mean, you have my egg, I'll have your mushrooms. And like, my son doesn't necessarily like tinned tomatoes. Sometimes they do the fry up tomatoes. It's not one for tomatoes anyway, full stop. I do slice them up and put them, if he has like a ham and salad sandwich, I put them in. And when I do, you know, those things with rolls, sorry if I'm irritating you, I've been told about my ham business. Do you know what I mean? So I give him tomato, but and I'll have his tomato, and he might have maybe a sausage or something, you know, especially if it's the full breakfast. So there I have got tomatoes, probably 3 portions of tomatoes, 3 portions of mushrooms, and a couple of eggs, and then my bacon and my sausage are gone, which doesn't mind me. I'm not much of a, well, do I say meat eater? I like chicken. I love chicken. And yeah, we've got those steaks to have and things like that, and I'm enjoying the fresh meat I got from the butchers. But yeah, I ought to really consider changing my menus up, and else they're going to be all the same again when I do like a week's menus. Yeah, you know, and share the food we're having. But yeah, we have a swapperoo. I just think it's something to do. I mean, if you've got young kids or grandkids, we've done it with Talia as well, you know, our granddaughter, our little munchkin. And you know, if there's something she's not going to want, now fair enough, she, and I've mentioned this again, I'm saying it, she will eat carrots. So I would put the carrots to the side of my plate, because she'll look over, she'll leave her meat but look for a carrot. So very often we're scraping off, when we took her in the past on holiday, not last year but the year before, and scraping off the carrots onto her plate. So she's literally got a plate of carrots and things like that. Do you know what I mean? But there you are. I think most kids are the opposite way round, I believe anyway. I know mine love their meat rather than veg. Funny enough, Daniel was more, no, tell a lie, Daniel was for veg and my eldest son was for meat. So they used to swap array, especially if you weren't watching them. Yeah, I think this video is going to be a hell of a long time, and I do apologise. I've not got much done. I think I'm going to have to call it quits here. I may actually just start my planner. I've got a sneaky feeling once I've had to sort of check this over, and sometimes I try not put the transitions in. Sometimes I put them in if I feel as though I've waffled on too long, or it might be something too private. But as I said, I haven't really said much about the family. But yeah, I think I might start my planner. So I'm thinking I can see the planner going up before this one, I reckon. Anyway, I might start it today, this afternoon, and finish it tomorrow. So I don't know whether that is going to be up before this one at this rate. As I said, normally they're sort of lined up. So I do apologise, and if you've actually stuck to the end, I thank you an awful lot. So hopefully you're all staying safe and well. Thanks for watching. Goodbye. Sorry.